Hello, hola, bonjour. Welcome to Awards Academy. My name's Rachel, and I am the community manager and event producer at Awards. In my slide, you can see some pictures of me with the big W that we always take to the conferences with us. The big W is the member of our team. So hello to everyone who's just joined. Jean, hello. Another Rachel from Bonjour de Vienne. Bonjour. Okay, so thanks for joining us on Awards Academy. Awards Academy is an interactive learning platform for designers and developers. There's loads of workshops on there, live sessions, on interesting topics like UX, designing apps. So check it out and join some more live sessions. I've put how you can subscribe to our YouTube channel in the chat. So subscribe, and then you can watch all of these sessions again. And as well, you can find our conference talks there. So loads of interesting stuff. So now we are going to meet today's jury. So really excited to bring two jury members today to deconstruct a website. So we have got Sabato, who is in London, and also joining us, we've got Jonas. So Jonas will be with us any second, I'm sure. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Hi from Berlin.
So,
hi, Rachel. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So first, we're going to introduce Jonas. So Jonas is the partner and creative director of Taikonauten. Jonas, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for inviting us. It's a pleasure to be the part of the second website live review. We are really looking forward to that, and thank you very much for the invitation.
Our pleasure. And we've also got Sabato. He's the product design and direction at Sabato Studio. Yeah, an absolute pleasure to have you with us today.
Hi, Rachel. Thanks for having me. And just I'm so glad to take this opportunity and do this fantastic review with Jonas. I think we're going to have a good time now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. True. Okay, so let's get on with it. I'm going to leave you guys, and today we're going to be looking at a site called getsuperfluid. So I'll leave it to you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rachel, and all the awards people in the background working like hell right now. So our little show is working here. So thank you for that. So
yeah, that's true.
So first of all, what we are going to look today on is getsuperfluid. But before we go into that, I would like to thank Sabato for the wonderful pre-talks and the possibility that we have the chance to, especially in times of Corona and a new world order and everything connected to that we get in touch to each other or with each other remotely. So I think that is going to be a cool session.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for me as well, like Jonas. I think in the last couple of weeks we've been in touch to speak about these, and just I think that at the time of Corona is also a good way to just bond to each other and just build new friendships. So I'm very glad to be here today.
Thank you. So then let's jump into the getsuperfluid website. Won the site of the day, I think, 1st of July. The whole structure of this, or this general tech stack, is Gatsby, GSAP, which is basically a very popular combination at the moment. GSAP as a very powerful animation library, and Gatsby as a headless static site generator. So it's a very popular combination. We are also we see a lot in the last couple of weeks. And yeah, I think without going too deep into technology, because we are the designers, but I think that's a setup which we are seeing a lot in the last days or in the last month. All right, so let's take a look on the highlights we are going to talk about today, Sabato. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, just like first, I think the work that in the last year, like Number, which is like the creative studio that work on this project is doing, it's outstanding. So I probably would be a bit biased because like I really enjoy all of the work that they're doing now. We're going today like to see and to judge like the website based on like what's the content mean, and I think it's quite important like on this website, like and see how the content can shape user experience. We're going to see the micro interaction and transition. We're going to have a look like to the shopping experience and registration and login experience as well. And then like we also will have a look like to the mobile experience, which is of course quite important. I'm looking forward to start. Not sure that like not sure if Jonas is still online. We'll see. This is interesting. Just 1 minute.
So sorry for the technical problem.
Here you are. Are you back?
Yes.
Jonas?
Yes, you should hear me, right?
I can hear you now. Like honestly, I was frightened of that. I try like I try to look. The thing is that you're like we can say to everyone that you are basically in the background moving slides and just as well like. So I can't do that. So like I was just like, all right, let me try to occupy a bit of time. So what I was saying is that first I think we both really like what's like Number is doing at the menu. I think they're just like making like an outstanding website and outstanding project is great. And in particular regarding this project, we're going to have a look like to the broad aspect that just a website can have, like from the branding part to the transition to the interaction, the shopping experience, the color palette, the photography, and how like the content like is really in this specific case like used to shape as well the user experience. And at the end, like we will go, I think, because I know you really would like to do that, like we will go through the mobile experience, which is like interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you very much for saving the situation with my dropout. Before we go into the website or look at the website, we have a quick glance on the page speed insights on the desktop experience. Without going too much into detail here, there are a couple of potentials or opportunities to improve proper size images, proper font file sizes. But on the other hand side, there are a couple of things which are pretty hard to tackle, which are a lot of third-party integrations like Google, like Facebook. They're responsible sometimes for the delay, but without further ado, I would suggest that we jump into the website. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we will feel much more comfortable talk about the website and the user experience than the performance. So let's jump on the website and see like what the website has to offer.
Cool. All right, so I hope you guys see everything right now. The getsuperfluid.com.
It's loading. Here we are.
Perfect. So we are here, and it's amazing. It's a really great impression. Sabato, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, just like this is the case where, to me, like in a viewport, there is condensed all the elements that this website has. Like, first of all, I really appreciate the fact that they use Alliance as a typography. I think it's quite cool, like supporting like small independent type foundries. And as a designer, we have the opportunity to do that. So I really like it. In this case, like if you look like at the Superfluid, that we can discuss later about the name, just like typography and the use of the regular with the italic one, mixing this way, just make everything modern. But what I believe is really the strength of this viewport is the photo. Like we are talking about just like an e-commerce that is related to the beauty and so on, and what we have like as a background image is like diversity. We have just like the very modern representation of what it should be. So I think it's fantastic, and honestly, I can't stress more the fact that as a designer, we have like the chance and the responsibility to just use photography and use content in a way to just make the world moving forward. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think it's a very beautiful introduction. Very simple design, but also kind of aggressive in the kind of the font and color scheme. It reminds me a little bit of like the general Supreme look and feel, right? With the boldness and everything what is kind of connected to this lifestyle. So of course, we are talking here about the e-commerce website or e-commerce platform, which is always kind of, it's probably one of the challenges, most challenging experiences, because you always need to kind of have the balance between the brand experience and the e-commerce conversion, usability, micro interaction things which are improving your conversion rates. We try to look at this balance during the different viewports. But I think that's exactly the right point where we say, okay, let's scroll a little bit down here.
Yeah, before we go to the product part, like one thing that I really enjoy is the fact that the logos start very big in the first viewport and then shrink as a small when you scroll. I think it's a really interesting and playful interaction, which I found quite nice and bold. Like usually probably it's the other way around, where you have the logo on the left very small and then you scroll as something up, and so I like it. What do you have to say regarding the product part?
Yeah, so basically just one more comment to the look and feel. What is very interesting is that, I mean, you can obviously quickly see that this is kind of a part of this in the last couple, 3 years going on trend of this brutalism, very straightforward, hardcore look and feel, let's say like this, which I personally am not the biggest fan of it, because it's sometimes losing a little bit of its heart and of its purpose to actually not being just art, but also being purposeful and trying to solve some problems. On the other hand side, they have a lot of poppy colors, pop culture references in this first viewport, and also in the second viewport in general look and feel, which from my personal experience or from my personal view, it lightens up everything. So I think that's a very, very, very great approach. And this is also what you can see here in this first view of different products. I mean, the products are the same bold and clean as the actual website, which is very, very cool and numbered. Behind that is Martin Silvestre, I guess, which I was in contact in the last couple of years a little bit, which is a really, really warm and really nice guy, and behind this thought is, or you can see all these love to the details, especially when you, for example, move over or when you hover through the different teasers, which you get lots of interaction and lots of love to details, which for me or for us as experienced designers, I think it brings lots of positivity.
Yeah, that's true. Like there are like, well, this is a component, right? That is going to like whenever we will go to the website, we will see that it's going to be reused like in different way. I mean, if you have a look to the component, like one thing that I really like and that makes everything very graphic is the fact that the pack shot of the product doesn't have any shadow. So it's very graphic. It's the clear and easy to understand where it is. I like the over effect because the typography, that is something that I found interesting, but as well there is the human side as a reflection, which is nice. One thing that I'm not sure that I would like to ask you, like from an e-commerce perspective, like what do you think of the label of the price? Because to me it looks like quite small, and it's like the kind of an element that at the end the price is something that help the user to understand that it's something that you can buy, right? So what do you think of that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think this is again the topic of balancing the e-commerce and brand experience. And as you can obviously see here in some resolutions, it's pretty hard to identify what is the product's name, what is the actual price for it. In general, it's kind of tricky sometimes to see actually what is interactive, what is a link, what is a button, or what is just like some label. And speaking of interaction in general, we have here beautiful insights or beautiful details. On the other hand side, if somebody is experiencing this website, it's pretty hard to see that the actual filter is going to be active, because just in a split of a second, it's changing the content. And I think in some kind of interaction can help here a lot to feel a little bit more comfortable with what is happening in this part.
Yeah, that's true. I can agree with you. But I still love like the over and the way the typography just play and all the images. I think it's quite refreshing. It's very in line with the brand, isn't it?
Totally. I think they really did a great job in continuing the brand experiences from the offline world, let's say like this, or from the product design or for the general marketing communication to this touch point in the digital context. Sometimes, as you can see here, there's like some classy parallax effects, which are and some animations which really lighting it up, and in combination with this amazing photography, I think it's a great positive experiences to great experience to go through everything. But on the other hand side, maybe sometimes a little bit too trendy. I think it's really hard to read this text. A little bit of line height is always helpful in regarding interaction and readability. And especially, I don't know if you see it, but this is actually an arrow.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, just in this viewport, there are probably like some elements that can be improved to enhance like the overall user experience. What really catch me is the copy, because I think that is very strong, right? So like it's always the same, depends the way that you want to see things, right? Like from a user point of view, I think that is something that can be definitely improved. Like the call to action is probably not that visible. Like there is this flashy, continuous like typographies going on that is probably make like a bit of noise in the background. The line height, as you were saying, but again, I really enjoy the copy part, so I probably focus my attention on that.
Totally. From content side, it's really beautiful and on point. So that's also a big part. Also of the jury system. Basically, there are 4 big pillars of our jury voting system, which are basically content, creativity, usability, and design. And
yes.
I think with that in mind, it's easy to identify what is worth giving higher points, and maybe some not that high, but still high, of course.
Yeah. One thing, like if the guys from Number were here, like one thing they would like to ask you was just like try to understand if how the content really inspired the user experience. So if they were just like be on board before that actually all the shooting and all the branding part was done. So they were just like something very, very nice to understand.
That's right. A little note here, for example, because just of the design, it feels like this is clickable, or it follows you, or it's some kind of share possibility, but it isn't at all. Especially when it's connected with kind of the navigation, where you get some feedback. So I mean, I think it's also very specific for the target group. We are not talking about. I mean, the product is clearly targeted to a certain group of humans and or of people, and so sometimes the super micro usability things are maybe sometimes not so important, but sometimes they are, as you also can see here in this example. For example, we have here these artworks, this kind of combination, this overview of the products and the photography, but there's no feedback. Feedback.
I agree with you. It's also like the one thing that I found quite strange is that the structure and the element is more or less the same that was like presented before in the shop, like carousel, but in this case there is no feedback. So probably, you know, just like playing slightly with that will definitely just make the user aware that is something that you can click.
Totally. Again here, so it's a little bit tricky to see view all. Is it connected to the module above, or is it connected to the video? However, the experience is beautiful, and also the content, as you can see here, is really great. I think, Sabato, you wanted to say a little bit about in general the still life and the use of photography. What is your comment on that?
Well, when I look at the website, I was really intrigued by the content. Like this is the kind of case where really like content shape the overall user experience and the overall like brand experience. So every image is like, despite like the quality of the photography that I think is really high, but every details in the image is play in a way to make the brand just look and sound very modern, like from the casting of the model to the color of the photography. All these like tiny elements just make it looks like that you're joined somehow. Like actually the call to action say join the Superfluid movement, like if you're joining a sort of revolution or whatever. So I think it's quite interesting, very brave as well for a beauty brand just position themselves with face of like just different people. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm in love with the brand communication. So that's why we already spent so much time on this website. Speaking of spending time, what we saw here also a little bit of a potential improvement, especially when you are on this e-commerce world, is we have here a little bit often when I type here into the email, for example, we all know these live validation tricks. When you see, okay, well, is there an ad in it, or is there some kind of bug, some kind of typo in it? We don't have this here in this place, which is a little bit of, which is kind of could be easily established to have kind of a live validation instead of really having something which you could also which you could easily miss, that you actually typed in the wrong email.
Completely agree with you. I don't have anything to add. I like when we agree. Like we had this conversation before. It's just like, it's nice when we agree. I don't know. I feel nice.
Yeah, that's true. I could do that all day long with you, Sabato.
Yeah. And then there is the footer. Like, what do you think? Because this, I think, is a mix of like what is in trend, a mix of information architecture, a mix of like this you know, this trend of having this massive footer that basically occupied just like a viewport, exactly like the you know, the intro, the header, or whatever. What do you think about that?
So I think it has the room it needs. It fits to the style. On the other hand side, it's again a little bit tricky to understand. Okay, what is actually accessible? Why do we have so many multiplied links to the subsites or to the different areas? It makes the website much more complex than it actually is, because we just have the shop, the index page, the shop, the about page, and that's it. And here we are a little bit complex, again, missing a little bit of the hover. But on the other hand side, they have beautiful transitions. So when we, for example, click on the shop, and you can see again this beautiful transition going to the subpage of the products overview, where
which is
very. Yes, please.
No, I mean, like what I was saying is just like, which is our second page that we're going to review, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, which is a main page basically for an e-commerce.
Absolutely, absolutely. They have here, we will see these elements a little bit more often, are these sticky elements, which helps you to navigate through an experience. Again, it's really hard to combine this brand experiences with e-commerce experience. If you go to H&M and ASOS or whatever, they're so highly optimized on usability that you can actually interchange the logo at the top left, and it seems like the same page.
Yeah.
Other agencies, which also presented last time, are very, very good in connecting these world of brand and e-commerce. And I think they're doing here, Numbered is doing a very good job in these different sizes of the products, really having kind of again, very positive experience on this side.
Yeah, talking about that, I have a question for you. Like, can you show me how the filtering and the sorting in the left it works? I think it's quite. I have to admit I didn't check it before, so this is yeah. I'm curious to check it live with you.
Yeah, so you can basically click on those elements. It's filtering here. Again, here at this point, it could be helpful maybe to work a little bit with more interaction. So it actually helped. What you can see, for example, I don't know, it's not happening always, but sometimes when you categorize, there's a huge white space beneath the logo under the actual products. It's happening on some resolutions that there is some kind of maybe missed quality assurance. It's not happening here, but especially when you have like experience like this, it's very important to go through all the different resolutions, all the different different devices to really see that it's working as seamless as possible.
I do agree. Like I have like some let's say some concern, or like something that probably I will change on this page, in the sense that we have like this grid which is made of like four elements, right? Three are like the products, and one is this column that is always on the left. But probably like since the filter is actually quite easy and to just like play around, right? What about if they were probably putting like the filter on top, they will just be able to have like an extra column, which means they were fitting one product more, right? That is something I think is important, in the sense that with less scroll, you have the chance, without compromise like the experience, to have a bit of more product visible. And the other thing that unfortunately I don't really like is this gift card that is repeating around. Is something that, considering the fact that everything is very curated, like, and every single image is like so, you know, unique, I probably will avoid that. But yeah, that's what the page is. But it's interesting that there is the first part, which is product, but then you continue to scroll, right? And something happens. If you scroll down, there is, after all this product part, there is a bit of storytelling, right?
There's the storytelling part, which gives you the direct access to the About session, where we also have this beautiful color change of the background, also going deep into the brand and their self understanding. I like the approach that they completely changed the color of the background, also the placement of content, and really give you the chance to deep dive into the whole world. I had a little bit of a trouble to understand that this is actually another form of their logo. So that was a little bit. It took me a while to understand that this is not just kind of a nice style element or something like that. But when you look in on all the social media channels, this is the compressed version of the logo.
Yeah, that's true. Well, one thing that I liked, like before I was looking I was trying to look at the website on my mobile, and usually like I go on Safari and I save it like on as a home screen, icon that you can have, and they just like use this rounded logo, which I think that is quite nice. It was a detail that I noticed that was nice. What I want to say, like regarding this page, actually is like it's clearly visible like how print design and editorial design most of the time like influence like in terms of grid system, in terms of the way the controller plays, like digital design, right? So if you try probably to take a screenshot of the vertical of this page and then put like the part of the pages next to each other, you will have a small magazine, right? So I will feel like that. So it's quite, I'm always intrigued when I have the chance to see something similar. But one thing, like if you go back, exactly to the shop experience, can we try to just click and look at one of the products? I prefer to look at one that has the option to change the color, because this is just black. I think we will see something interesting there.
Yes, you got me.
You know what I mean, right?
Yes, I'm just trying to find the right product. Yes.
This
so what
one.
we can see here, for example, is exactly the product detail page. What I'm always a big fan of, when you interact with something, then you get kind of more context and more information. We get a little bit of more information, but somehow the product picture is missing. So you need to interact to actually see what product it is. And before we go deeper into the single elements of here, I think the thing what came up very quickly in our minds is a little bit of the usability of this module here, and especially when you change the colors, you have kind of a complete website reload or page reload. Sometimes also on mobile, not jumping to the right position, which feels like an actual more or less different product than instead of really configuring or customizing your product. Very sure that there would be possibilities to have this experience even more seamless.
Yes, definitely. I think exactly the same. That was what I noticed in terms of selection of the color and the product. It's something that just like can definitely be improved for sure.
Totally. I just see that we are too slow. We wanted to show much more, but we need to hurry up a little bit.
Yeah, well, I that's true. We got lost a bit.
Yeah. So basically, what we can see here is again classic optimization or cross-commerce functionalities with paired with this, paired with that. What maybe because it's not my product world, but also it always helps to make an explanation or to combine why you should pair with it. What is the actually plus size, or why should you actually pair it with it? Why make it sense to really connect those two things? And again, additionally to that, you may also like these and these website, these products, and it's a little bit too much, especially when you try to actually learn more about the product. There are lots of possibilities to actually go somewhere else. On the other hand side, what is really beautiful or what is really cool is this sticky element of the product, which also always helps you to remember that you are on a product site.
Yeah.
Should I add it to the cart? What do you think?
Sorry?
Should I add it to the cart? What do you think?
Yes, I think it's the time that we discuss about the car. What do you think about that? Like there are this is a Shopify experience, right? So like all these Shopify websites, like they have this kind of side panel that come on top of the UI, which I found it nice, and I found it smart as overall approach. In particular, I like the fact that they recommend you like product that eventually they upsell you in the scenario, right? Something that you can eventually buy. But I agree with what you were saying before. Probably like a bit more of explanation and connection between products will be better. And then if we click on continue to payment.
Before we jump into that, I just wanted to comment one more thing.
Yes.
I think it's again a great example of looking at usability and hierarchy of typography, for example, because it's really hard to find the actual price. Yeah, it's really hard to find. Okay, where's the possibility to click? Where can I add something? Where can I delete something? Different line thicknesses, and sometimes it's a separator, sometimes it's just helping you to understand if this is kind of a cross selling module or not. So I think sometimes you should follow less the trend or less the specific style you decided on, but still not forget that it's very important to also sell, because when the company is selling something, then you probably get more possibilities to work with them.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes it's quite interesting, like, I would like to know what you think about it. Sometimes there are just beautiful e-commerce that they don't convert at all, where just like they just don't sell the product, and sometimes there are just e-commerce that looks like they are not special, but actually they fit the purpose completely, right? So it's kind of like walking on the balance it's hard, as we know.
Yeah, and you can also see it pretty good here. So it's again, it looks really cool, like very print style layouts, very interesting setup. On the other hand side, it's pretty tricky to understand in which step you are. How can you help to see in which step you are within the funnel? Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a beautiful style and beautiful experiences, and they decided to go like this, which is also completely fine. But I think that it's always worth to also think about those steps.
Yeah, that's true, Jonas. I have something to tell you. I got the feeling that we need to jump in the Q&A now. So
all right.
Yes.
Maybe before we jump to that, we just let's just take just one quick glance on the
Look at
mobile
the mobile.
experiences. Yeah,
let's
because
do
we
it.
had a lot of feedback right now that or a lot of questions regarding the mobile experience.
Okay,
Rachel,
so we're going to look at the mobile, and then we'll take some questions because we've got quite a few questions to get through.
Of course. So Sabato, what is your first experience, first glance?
But I think it probably works better on the mobile than on desktop. I think it works really nice on mobile. I like as well the fact that keeping like some transition and some elements that are just like enhancing the brand and so on. Like you still have like an experience that is quite smooth. Like also in terms of performance, this is something we were talking before. So the only thing like in this home page, there is this weird. If you go down, like there is this box that probably doesn't really like work properly, like in the responsiveness of that. But apart from that, I think that just like the experience on mobile is pretty solid, and it's nowadays, I mean, in mandatory, just like building like e-commerce experience starting from mobile, right, to just guarantee the conversions on.
The interesting part of it, to just quickly comment on that, is I think that there are a few elements which are very extraordinary great from the brand experience, how the modules are connected with each other, and then there are a little bit little flaws which are probably, my guess, sometimes a question of priority. Yeah. Who knows how much time they had? Who knows how big the budget was? But sometimes it's a compromise, and it's online, not that long. So it's the first version, and I'm very sure that there will be many iterations and many analyses within the analytics to make even more and more great decisions for the future. You can also see that on the current status, because they already fixed a few things I saw yesterday. So perfect.
That's true. That's cool.
All right. So then I would like to hand over to Rachel, and let's answer some questions.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Jonas. So we've had loads of questions, and let's kick off with Young, who is a digital designer from NYC. And he says, you mentioned on the homepage and product page, the product filters needed more interaction. Could you expand on that? What kind of interaction would you add to enhance it?
Does it make sense to make a screen share again? However, so the main thing is that when you look at the specific module, then you are basically in love with the micro animations. Yeah, there's like this slowly movement. There's the brand experience in the background. It's playing around with the logo. But at the other hand side, it's kind of missing, for example, the possibility you don't get a feedback when you hover over the arrow, for example. So is it basically, I mean, it's an arrow, it's very obvious, but sometimes it can lead to, is this actually interaction element or not? Or for example, when it's missing a little bit of the hover here. So you don't know yet that the normal copy can also be a link. So you need to explore that to see that this is kind of actually a filter, but it feels a little bit like a tab module or tab navigation, and it goes so quickly. So you maybe didn't even recognize that you're changing the products, especially when you're changing between all in color it's like very quick change. So it could help to have a fade out, fade in, or maybe some kind of highlight, maybe some full color overlay which comes in and disappears, and the new product comes out. So this was something where what I meant, the balance between sometimes unbelievable, so much love into details, and sometimes also love, but maybe not that much.
Yeah. One other thing to add on you regarding that is the fact that, for instance, like especially since there is an horizontal carousel that like it actually display few items, right? Would be great to know how many items there are in this list, right? Like, so if you imagine that like have a number next to all that is show that there are 100 products, and when you filter it, you see the number just going down. Is something that definitely can enhance the experience and just make this filter a bit more sophisticated. I hope
It's a lot.
Yeah, I hope we answer to the question.
Okay, thank you. And we've got another question from Roel from the Netherlands. Hi, Roel. And they want to know, what was the key element of this site that made it site of the day?
Who goes first? You go first, Jonas.
I mean, I think I need to go to the actual detail page of seeing which ranking it got before because otherwise I'm very subjective, and I think the great system of awards is by so many people participating in it, so it's the most possible objective approach. So I don't know exactly what was the ranking, but what we can see here is definitely, I think it's a great combination of what was trend in the last couple of years, plus what was improved in the visual experience. I just opened it up. It had a great ranking within the design, which we already agreed on, that the experience is very consistent, very positive. The usability was the last point it got. So this is exactly funny coincidence that this is exactly what we just said. I think it's the balance between those four things: design, usability, creativity, and content, plus a great mobile experience. Because we all know, especially when you are in e-commerce and you're very present on Instagram and so on and so forth, that the first touch point is through the smartphone. That this is also a positive experience. And so what do you think, Sabato?
Yeah, I think that definitely like design and content. I bet I don't have the score in front of me, but I bet there are the two things that definitely just make all the judges like go for make the website site of the day. So yes.
Okay, and so we've got a question from Ben. He says there's a lot of things going on here. Each of the elements are competing for attention, and he felt overwhelmed. So is it too much?
It's an interesting question. Again, like before, like when we start this conversation with Jonas, like, you know, it's hard to find the balance between an e-commerce platform and a brand experience. I think that maybe the brand is the way they want to communicate is somehow overwhelm and be just like in front, like a punch on your face, be complete in front, right? So it's eventually something that you remember. So I don't know. What do you think, Jonas?
I think they did their homework with their target group. They really know their target group.
True.
They really know what is working, what is not working, how you can put the right visual highlights at the right moment. Of course, they're competing with each other, and as we said, it's also maybe not the best way to convert. But we don't know if this is the only shop, or if they are part of other merchants or affiliates or whatever. I'm pretty sure that they don't have this possibility to have this brand experience. But I think from my point of view, it's a very consistent experience. The products, the communication, the website, and it is loud. It is loud, and it is supposed to be loud. And with this rebellious, let's say, clash of simple design with big fonts and colors and so on and so forth, I think it's very on point with the community they want to address. And I think with this point of view, it's okay to be a little bit loud and lots of things going on.
Yeah.
Okay, and I've got a question from Alexia. Hi, Alexia. She says,
Hi, Alexia.
She says, this kind of e-commerce, or question, will this kind of e-commerce always need a creative agency to actualize the majority of the content?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah. Will this type of e-commerce always need a creative agency to actualize the majority of the content?
Yes, I think definitely. I mean, like for working on e-commerce like that, there are a lot of things like that have to happen. Like you have to have a strong brand. You need to have direction in terms of photography. You need to have good still life images. So it's definitely not a one-man band type of work that you can do. Just like you need, like most of the time what we're doing is just about collaborating and picking the right things, the right professionals to putting together, just like mix it and come back with some solution outstanding like the one that we had the chance to review before.
Yeah.
I hope I answer to the question.
I just want to like to add a quick thing to that. There are so many tools out in this world, and what we have here is, for example, Shopify, and there are so many different tools who help you to set up a basis. On the other hand side, so many things of those experiences look so similar, and the experience is so it's really hard to distinguish between those shop experiences to these website experiences. I don't say that this is a bad thing that there are tools like that. It's exactly the opposite. But to compete and to reach the last 10% within your market or within your niche, many times it's necessary to have the challenge or to be challenged by a creative agency who did that many times and who had the experiences from not only fashion but also from travel, from user experience in the context of maybe IoT or whatever, because of all these things and all these approaches where you talk and to users and where you make qualitative as well as quantitative reviews, you get so much knowledge which you can apply on those website experience or this mobile experience to actually get to the last 10 or 20% in comparison to your competitors. So that's my opinion.
Okay, we've got a question from David from Nigeria. Hi, David. He wants to ask, what are some measures you put in place to make sure developers implement designs just like they have been supplied, no matter how difficult that may be?
That's interesting. Do you want to start, Jonas?
It's a topic I need to time box myself because this is an unbelievable interesting question and topic where there is no perfect. I think where there is no perfect process or no perfect approach. It's about always challenging your workflow and always trying out how actually how you can make it sure that there's no difference between the thinking of a design and the thinking of a developer, but helping through tools or through animations, like Principle or like a Hype or Figma or a Sketch or InVision or whatever, through specific tools, make it as vivid and as easy as possible to really understand what is the idea. Having a great having a method which is ideally maybe not necessarily a waterfall approach, but maybe more agile, iterative, sprint-based. What we are trying to do most of the time, where we really build something working very closely together, iteration by iteration. And this is then also sometimes okay if there's something not perfect, as we maybe saw on Superfluid. But as long as you have the process and the team and the thinking of constantly improving and constantly working on that and constantly looking at the data, I think that there's a great chances to have a great connection. It starts with the method. It starts with the mindset, and this is something we all should embrace, and maybe not be too much like it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I will try to answer and be very, very short on that. Like, based on my experience, that most of the time include a lot of mistakes. Like, I think the nowadays, like, developers and designers, they really have to work like together to just build a fantastic experience. This is for many different reasons, for the complexity of the front end, the animation tool, and things like that, and also because I think I always experience that the best of work can be done when there is this type of like collaboration and just like way to bounce the ball back and be influenced by. As a designer, at the same time, just to answer like to Debbie, I think that we have now tools that just make us make the chance and the possibility, like without even know that much coding or whatever, to just make a prototype that can be very high fidelity and similar to the experience that we want, that we can put in front of people, we can learn from it, and of course we can share to the developers and just give them some guidelines that are much more solid. So less work we do and less we specify, much more there is the chance that what we see is not what we were expecting. Yeah, that's from my experience.
Okay, thank you. I think that's a good note to end on. So thank you so much to everyone for all the questions. We had people from Nigeria, from Paris, from the United States. So thank you so much for your questions. So that's all for today. We've got another live session on Awards Academy on the 14th of July at 5 p.m. Central European Time with Lucas from Estudio NK, sorry. And he is going to talk about cómo pasar de la frustración a poder vender una idea. So that's for you if you speak Spanish. Okay, so thank you so much for to everyone for tuning in. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can watch all of these sessions again. And remember, you can download the PDF of the handouts if you want more information from this session. So that's all for today. Thank you so much, Jonas and Sabato. It's been a pleasure.
Also, thank you very much. It was a great experience for us, or for me. Definitely, it's not something we are doing every day. So also thank you for all the questions and all the people tuning in from all over the world. And if you guys have questions, just reach out to us through Twitter or through Instagram. We're always happy to interact with all the questions and all the things you would like to know. So thank you very much from my side.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rachel, for having me, and like thanks all the awwwards crew that work really hard. Like I had the chance to experience the backstage of it, and I can tell you that it's a lot of work. So thanks for organizing it. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free to just write me.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll hopefully see you again soon on Awards Academy.
Thank
See you
you.
soon.
Okay, thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.